We're gonna cover habit number two. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but I can almost promise you it'll probably be 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I want to ask you guys about the shape of America. America is in bad shape. All right. I'm not gonna say the Democrats are any better than the fucking Republicans. Although I will say that the Democrats have proven to care more about the people, especially like the alphabet community and people who are living the alternate lifestyle and shit like that, which I have no problem with them whatsoever. I have family members that are in the alphabet community. I love them, and I will die to make sure that nobody puts their fucking hands on them. I have at least two that I'm aware of. If there's anybody else I'm not aware of, but I know I have two. If anybody touches my cousin or my nephew, I'm gonna put an arrow through your fucking chest. Alright? Period. You want to get to them, you gotta go through me. I'm not a really big guy, but I fight really well. Anyway, moving on. I want to bring this up because a lot of y'all are either flying by with blinders on or you just don't want to acknowledge a lot of shit. Alright? I'm guilty of it too. I'll be the first to tell you I am very guilty of the shit that I'm about to talk about. However, there's nothing wrong with my motherfucking moral compass. Right is right, wrong is wrong. There's some gray lines in between, but I'm willing to acknowledge those gray lines. Which a lot of people, we're all too scared of people's first visceral reaction to the shit we say. This is why I don't like making videos about Trump, because I can't stand the man. The man's a goddamn racist, and I just offended about 15,000 people with this one remark right there. If y'all don't think Trump is a racist, it's because of two reasons. And this is the most important thing. One, you've never been the victim of racism. Or two, whatever race he is picking on this week is not yours. Alright? I was on a TikTok live earlier today. I am pissed the fuck off about this TikTok live. Because this person, he was a Native American, but he was also a Native American, but he's a Mexican Native American. And yes, Mexicans are Native Americans. They were Native Americans before this thing called borders were put into place. So I'm going to piss all y'all off. And if you are the following and you are a Trump supporter, this is specifically for y'all. Because either you choose to be willfully ignorant or you just don't give a fuck, or it hasn't affected your race directly. And that being said, if you are blacks for Trump, Asians for Trumps, natives for Trumps, Mexicans, Latins, Puerto Ricans, everybody of a different diaspora than white for Trump. And don't take this wrong if you're white. I'm giving you a fucking hall pass. Because only certain white people are really supporting Trump, and those people are generally MAGA, and MAGA won't acknowledge that they're being racist too. Alright? And every one of the groups that I'm naming, if there's LBGTQ, fuck. If there's anybody in your racial diaspora, in the alphabet community, they're getting fucked and they're your family. Which goes to show how much you give a fuck about your family. My family hates my guts, but I still love my family. You see the clusterfuck that is. Loyalty is a thing, man. And whether y'all like it or not, it will always be a thing. You know, you don't have to like it, but that doesn't change the fact that it is a thing. Because loyalty is a thing. Alright? So, here's the thing. On the TikTok, this is the part that pissed me off. I was watching Tim the Handsome Liberal. Shout out to Tim. I like a lot of his viewpoints. He cruises it down the middle, but he leans more left. I cruise it down the middle. I lean more left. There are a lot of things that the right do and say that have me questioning their moral compass. So get that out the way right here, right now. Get that out the way. I do vote Democrat. I will never vote for Trump. Not if he was the last person on earth, I wouldn't vote for him. If it was a vote between vote for Trump or vote for me, I'd vote for me. And I know I'm going to fuck the job up. But I'm still going to vote for me because I'm not going to come out my mouth racially or sexually towards women, men, and I'm not going to insult the alphabet community. Alright? And y'all can take that how you will, but you're not going to hear me condemning the alphabet community. I'm not going to date in the alphabet community. I will not be dating transgender females or men who identify as females. I don't know how that shit works, but I'm not going to date them. Alright? I have no problem with them being alive or participating in all that stuff. Although personally, I say this because I know America can do this. America just doesn't want to make that money because they don't want transgender people to be successful. They don't want them to be on top. So I'm going to say this with my full chest. I know America can do it. America and sexist, racist, I don't know what the fuck you want to call them, they don't want to make a transgender league. The best way to accommodate the transgender people, since you don't want them playing in sports, is to give them their own sports league. And don't say you can't, because you have the WNBA, you have the NBA, you have a ladies hockey league, a ladies golf league. So everything that men can do, that women can do and have done better, you've given them a league for it. So do not sit here and tell me you can't make a transgender league. Don't tell me that shit, because it's bullshit. You can make a transgender athlete. You can make a transgender Olympics. You can do all that shit. Yet, y'all are too busy trying to figure out what bathrooms they're going in. And I got a degree in police science and criminal justice, so I'm going to go ahead and say this, because there's a couple of things that a lot of people aren't aware of. Most sexual assaults happen to ladies within a friendship diaspora, or a friend of a friend, or GHB, or something in that manner. Most sexual assaults with young men and boys happen with the church. Things that they don't really talk about, there you go. But yet, you haven't heard of any transgender men attacking women in the bathroom yet. You have heard about that shit in prison, where one transgender dude got transferred to the women's prison and started raping women. It's in the news. It was like many, many years back. So you do have like those isolated incidences. But when it comes to sexual assault, 9 times out of 10, a woman is generally raped by somebody she knows before she's raped by a stranger. Now, don't think that random encounters don't happen, because they do, but it's not as common as people think. And a lot of the friendship sexual assaults go unreported. All right? So now we got that out the way. Let's kick it in. Republicans want to make sure that women don't have rights. They want to take away your right to choose who you get to have a baby with. They want to take away your right to choose if the baby is going to die or you're going to die, or you're both going to die if the baby isn't aborted. They're taking all that shit away. You don't have Democrats doing that. That's your moral compass. Now let me get back on track, because I got off track completely. I was watching Tim the Handsome Liberal, and because the camera guy didn't cam up, I can't tell if he was telling the truth or not, but he was Native American. All right? He said he was a Native American. So let's talk about the Trump Native American thing. They don't look like Indians to me. That was one. And then there was the video that you can no longer find, but I know it's out there because the internet is forever, where a Native girl asked him about Standing Rock. While he was about to run for president, a Native girl asked him about Standing Rock, and she literally said, "What are you going to do about Standing Rock if you become the president?" And this fucker said, "I'm not going to let anything happen to Standing Rock. I'm not going to let anything come through there." That was lie number one. The action of that lie was Obama's last day in office, where he protected Standing Rock in front of Native Americans. Trump came in and undone all that shit with his first act as president. So don't tell me that Native Americans should be liking this fucking guy. All right? I'm mixed Native. I have my feelings. You don't have to like them, but there they are. Number two. He literally makes fun of Elizabeth Warren every day. And she does have 4% Native. So she's not full. She probably has less than I have in blood, quantum, and whatever. But it did prove that she had some Native. She had at least one Native ancestor. Now, I could be wrong, because you know, when you read media and all this shit, things get twisted and convoluted. And every DNA test company gives you a different result regardless. So I just learned that. So once I get my 23andMe results, I'll figure that shit out. And no, I'm not sharing any of that shit, because honestly, I've been part Native before social media. I'm going to be part Native after social media. The only difference is social media now tries to make everybody prove it. Alright? So getting that out the way. He literally made fun of Matoaka, aka Pocahontas, in front of the Navajo when he gave them a reward. So for this Mexican guy to come up on the handsome liberal and say, I'm a Mexican and I support Trump. So he either wasn't aware or being willfully ignorant when Trump said that Mexico was sending all the rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. Yet this guy's Mexican, but he's also a Native American. Now you tell me if y'all think I'm pushing it just a little bit too far. I'm not reading in between the lines, but either this guy was a fake native or this motherfucker was being willfully ignorant. I'm not going to say he wasn't a native, but he didn't cam up. As most guests on The Handsome Liberal don't cam up. So you can say you're native and not be native at all. I'm mixed native. I've been mixed native. If you watch Kung Fu Havoc #1 and Kung Fu Havoc #2, nothing's changed about me since I've been on this fucking app. Nothing's changed about me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I have never not claimed being mixed. Alright? 50 years old. Haven't told a lie since I was 12. There's no need for me to worry about this shit right now. Now, hearing that today got me gratefully upset. And then I go into other things like Asians for Trump. Each and every last one of them. You can get mad at me if you want. But each and every last one of them, in endorsing this man, has helped contribute to the rise of Asians being assaulted by black people and white people because of what? COVID-19. What was it? Oh, a Kung Flu. The Wuhan virus. The Wuhan disaster. Every week this sumbitch says something bad about Wuhan and Chinese people. Now you may be Japanese or Korean or Laotian, which means you're Laos, or Vietnamese or Malaysian or Indonesian. May even be from Tahiti. A racist person can't tell the difference. So if you are of any Asian diaspora and this racist person is all about Trump and you just got blessed not to be attacked, but yet you're supporting this motherfucker when your fellow Asians are getting attacked, they cut a Filipino man from cheek across his nose to cheek. An Asian woman got set on fire by some young black teenagers in New York. Another Asian woman got beat up in New York. An Asian man was attacked by black people in San Francisco. I made a video about it. My future wife in my head, the flawless, beautiful, and dangerously sexy Zeta Zhang, made a video about it. Hers got more views because she's Asian. The Asian girl on the subway, she got attacked and drop kicked the shit out of a black dude, and he deserved it. Asian man was killed, shoved into a garage by a white fella. Some old Asian people were attacked, and they fought back and beat up a white dude. A black man broke into a Korean store. Don't know the state, don't care. He beat on 2 Korean ladies with a fucking brick. By the time the son and the husband or boyfriend got there, the beating was already done, and they got him back out the store. But the women were fighting back, and they were doing a better job than the men. But again, if you're an Asian for Trump, you help contribute to your people getting fucked up. Alright? No one is above racism, but if you're going to contribute to somebody who does not like you, it only shows your fucking stupidity. Let's see, there was another Asian person that got fucked up because of some other racist people. There was 2 women who attacked an Asian woman with a fucking screwdriver. It's on TikTok, it's on the news. I'm sure y'all probably didn't give a fuck because it didn't affect your Asian, it just affected another Asian. But that could have very well been you. That could have very well been you because racist people, everybody looks alike. And they might not be racist. They just might not have the wherewithal of how many different Asian diasporas there is. The world's a big place. And if you're not in the martial arts, you can care 2 shits about Asia unless you're eating Chinese food. No, I'm eating Chinese food. I'm eating Japanese cuisine. I'm eating Korean barbecue. If you don't know that there's a difference, it's all Asian food to you. There is a difference. There are distant diasporas. Sake is Japanese, by the way, just in case y'all didn't know. It's also rice wine and other things that are Japanese. China has a different type of rice and a different type of wine, excuse me. Korea has a different type of wine. if you're old enough to try that. If you're not, they don't want your support. No underage drinking. I'm guilty of it myself, but no underage drinking because we had laws that I didn't break, like drinking and driving and shit like that. But, you have to remember these things. If you're a Muslim and you're supporting Trump, do you remember the Muslim ban? Or are you just retarded? If you're black and you're supporting Trump, how dare you forgive him for not even being a man to apologize to the Central Park Five? I am the same age as the Central Park Five. In fact, the youngest member of the Central Park Five was on The View yesterday or Monday, because I don't know what the hell the day is. But the youngest member of the Central Park Five was on The View. He turns 50 this month. I turned 50 back in August of last year, of 2023. So it was only like 5-6 months ago, maybe less. August is the 8th month, September, November, October, December, January. Okay, 5 months ago. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Who else did I? Let's see. Mexicans, murderers, rapists, drug dealers. Y'all sending us all of them. Who else did I say? Blacks, Mexicans, natives. Covered all of those. I gave white people a hall pass. No disrespect to white people, because most of the people that are following him that are white are either really, really poor or they're fucking MAGA. Alright? Covered everything in Asia. Now back to the TikTok call. This man was coming up with 9,000 ways that he could support Trump. But he forgot about all the sins that Trump's had done to Native Americans. All of them. Without a fucking second thought. And my blood was boiling. Because I'm not a full native, but I've literally watched this shit on TV. Literally watched this shit on TV. Now, I didn't know about the 60s and 70s and how the family of Trump didn't want black people not only not living in their gorgeous homes that they were building for real estate in New York. I didn't know that Trump didn't want them working in the higher part of his establishment, but in the low levels of his establishment. But y'all ain't taking that into consideration if you're black and you're supporting Trump. I get it. I ain't mad at you. I'm mad at your moral compass. Now, I'm going to finish this video with this apology. Alright? Because if this does not apply, let it fly. For everyone else who is in the diaspora of color that is supporting this man, what is your problem? Are you not aware of some of the things he's done? Because that's a possibility. You could be completely ignorant to the shit that he's done. Like, completely ignorant. Sorry, AEW's on. Because y'all are a little bit more important than wrestling right now. Unless, let's say, the Zang's on. Anyway. What is your malfunction? That you support a man who's outwardly racist. He was in Virginia. Now I'm going to end it right here. He was in Virginia, and a Chinese reporter from Virginia asked him something. And this rude, ignorant son of a bitch came out of his mouth with, "Why don't you ask China?" And y'all don't think that that's not racist. You couldn't say that to an African American, especially if they talk like me, because I don't have an accent from Africa. I mean, I can imitate the African accent, but I'm not African. So if you would have said that to an African American or an African, "Why don't you ask Africa?" How many black people would still be like, "I'm going to still support Trump"? Because a lot of black people don't like Africa. You can't blame everyone in Africa for some shit our ancestors supposedly had done for slavery. Alright? But if you can sit there and endorse this man and you are a person of color, you clearly didn't give a flying fuck about the Central Park 5. Alright? If you're a native and you didn't really give a fuck about Standing Rock or the casinos or how the native casinos was wiping his casinos out, that's why he made the fucking complaint in the states that he made the complaints in. But that's okay, because you're not one of those places where it affected you directly, where your casino is going to lose money when the people of the casinos are supposed to help feed the tribe. In some cases that works. In some cases the casinos don't give two fucks about the tribe. Now let's talk about the code talkers now have no water rights, yet when he was giving them the rewards, the first thing he did was, we have somebody who's been in office for a very long time. I call her Pocahontas. Now, one day the Navy officer, he cracked, he broke, he did everything he could to not laugh, but he glitched a little bit. It was a glitch in his matrix. He giggled. And he might not have got the joke. But in case y'all forgot, Native American women and men are the higher number of the people going missing and murdered on a fucking daily basis. But y'all aren't thinking about them when Trump is telling you all the shit that he's doing. And he's talking about how he's calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. Jokingly. Pocahontas is one of the first MMIW victims. She didn't get to come home. She was forced to have kids by John Rolfe, who her descendants still live in America, and probably brainwashed, and probably had the native breed it out. You know, save the Indian, kill the Indian, save the man. It's an act. It's the Indian Act. We're going to put you guys in schools and get the native out of you and make you proximity to white. Yeah. So, he's making it okay for everybody to be racist. Racist. Yeah. There were good people on both sides when Miss Heyer lost her life. You understand that the guy that ran her over ran through a bunch of black people too, and Miss Heyer unfortunately was the only person who actually passed away, and she was a young white lady fighting for black rights. The alt-right movement is a racist movement. But I'm pretty sure if y'all don't give a fuck because it's not supporting you, you know, I'm sure Trump supports the alt-right movement. But hey, I guess that just makes me a fucking racist, doesn't it? Now, let me finish this with this. I am not going to go as far as the people that I follow on TikTok to say that every Trump supporter is a racist. I am going to say this, though. Your moral compasses might need to be checked. It is not okay to be racist. And before I end this video, no one is above racism. There are black racist people, there are white racist people, there are Asian racist people, there are Mexican racist people, and there are other people in the diaspora of humanity. Everyone can be racist. And before anybody gets on here saying black people can't be racist, black people cannot be systemically racist. Get that shit right. Because that means there's a power shift. Which means, like, if I'm black and I'm your boss, and you're white and you work for me, now I have power over you, so now I can be racist. But in the reality, racism, racist, race prejudice, and all that shit means that you hate me because my skin tone doesn't match yours. The fact that I might be a good person, but because my skin tone doesn't match yours, you hate me. No other reason than the fact that I didn't get to choose what color I was going to be when I was born. I didn't get to choose my race. I got born into this body, this color, this gender. Therefore, also, how many Democrats you got going trying to stop women from having the right to choose? None. But you got all these women Republicans and all these male Republicans that are either MAGA or regular Republicans that are taking away all the rights for you women. So I'm going to say this. If a Handmaid's Tale happens, it's mostly going to affect white women. It's not going to affect black women. It's not going to affect Native women. It's not going to affect Asian women. It's only going to affect white women. But you white women are co-signing on to this shit because they let you sit at the table. Don't forget that you still have a vagina through your legs. And to them, you were just another piece of pussy waiting for the option block to drop. And if you don't know that or don't think that, you might want to stop listening to Margie Taylor Greene. Because sooner or later, the green dream will be your being. And when you're having to be subjugated to being a birther because you don't get a choice, or when your daughters all don't get a choice, if some crazy ass man down the street decides that he's going to rape your daughter, and all 50 states have banned abortion, you signed on for that shit. They don't want people who look like me to have babies because of the color of my skin. They don't want us. They don't want mixed kids. They don't want none of that shit. And if you're signing on for this shit, when your 6 to 8 year old daughter has to carry that baby to term and almost die, you signed on for that shit because you went with Trump and the fucking Republicans. Not fear mongering, just getting your eyes open for that shit. If you have a daughter, you better think about that shit before you hit them polls. You better think about your daughter every fucking day. I have nieces. You know what? My 2 nieces that are old enough to have kids, they have daughters. One niece has 3 daughters, one niece has 1. I have cousins who also have daughters. I have a sister who has 1 daughter. I have one brother who has 2 daughters. I love my nieces, and I don't want them to lose their rights to choose who they get to have a baby with. I don't want them to be assaulted or sexually assaulted by anybody and then be forced to carry a baby to term when they're just babies themselves. But if you're down with that shit, it's fine, because I know how you politicians work. They're always down with that shit until it's their kid on the chopping block. Remember, everybody's kid has a number, and that includes yours. I'm blessed I don't have kids. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. If I have offended you all, I do apologize to the 336 of you who were here, because I did go up 1. I may go down by the end of this video, but thank you all, and y'all know that door is always open. Thank you for watching. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Be seeing you.